All right, once again, you are welcome to today's practical session under optics. The examiner might want us to measure the length of the rectangular block or the width of the rectangular block, and the nature of our table of value could be in this form. You can ask us to find the incident angle of incidence, 30 degrees, 40 degrees, 50, 60, 70 degrees, as the case may be. So we assume that this might be the nature of our table of values. R standing for angle of refraction, then sign of angle of incidence, sign of angle of refraction, emergent angle, cos of emergent angle, then sine I over sine R. Can be tan, it can be whichever function, and ensure that all your readings are in 3 decimal places. You can see the other information. My name is Peter. The possible precautions to such practical under optics: I ensured need traces. I ensured the optical pins were vertically erect. I avoided error due to power loss while taking reading with the protractor. So we will take the practical now. We will do the practical and we fill up the empty columns as the need may be. All right. So you are provided with the optical pins, the thumb pins, that your drawing paper or tracing paper, the rectangular block, the protractor, your eraser. For the scientific functions and trig ratios, you need a scientific calculator, then your 30 cm ruler by your side. So this is your optical board. So what do? You position your optical board accordingly. Then with the help of the thumb pins, you fix them at the vertex. Then you place your rectangular block at the middle of your tracing paper, and the first thing you do is to mark out the outline. So you mark out the outline of the rectangular block you are using. Remember, the examiner might ask you to measure the width of the rectangular block. So the width of this one is 25 point, the length rather is 25.5 cm. The length of the rectangular block I'm using, 25.5 cm. I will note it down in case it's required. Then the width is 6 cm. 6 cm. So after you have drawn the outline, you remove it. You can see the outline is shown on your tracing paper. So the next thing you do is, with the help of your protractor, you place it and find your normal midpoint of your tracing. Ensure that this cross sign align with the middle of your protractor, and that will determine your normal. Your normal is at 90. Your normal is at 90. You can see the 90 on your protractor. So you put a dot there. That's your normal. Then you draw a normal from that point. Draw a normal. Draw your normal straight line. Then you place your protractor to determine angle 30 degrees. You move away from the normal. You move to your left hand side, away from the normal. Don't read from this place. If you read from this A point, you are calculating glancing angle. If you move from A to the normal, you are measuring glancing angle. You are not asked to do glancing angle. So don't measure from A. You have to measure angle of incidence from normal. So 30 degrees. You take this your 90 as 0. So 30 degrees will be 10, 20, 30. So this is your 30 degrees from the normal. That is at 60 degrees. You put that dot. Then from that angle of incidence, you trace it to the point of meeting. Remember, angle of incidence is the angle between the normal and the incident ray. So you do that. So you draw from the normal. You draw from that 30 degrees to the meeting point here. So the angle between the incident ray, this is your normal, this is the incident ray, I. See, the angle between the normal and the incident ray gives you the angle of incidence, and this is 30 degrees. You indicate it 30 degrees. This is your normal. This is the incident ray. So you now take your optical pins, 2 of them, position them anywhere along your angle, your incident ray, making sure they are at least 2 cm apart. You can see mine, at least 2 cm apart. So what do you do next? You replace your block on the outline you have drawn. Then you start the main work. The main work is for you to view from side CD in such a way that you are going to see these 2 optical pins, P1 and P2, through side CD standing as one. Then you use your P3 and P4, that is the 3rd and the 4th pin, to block them accordingly. So we do that quickly using your optical pin. So you view through side CD. I'm doing the viewing. You view in such a way that you see the 2 pins, you adjust your head accordingly. See the 2 pins as one. Position it accordingly. Then you take, that is your P3, you take your P4, the last pin. There are 4 optical pins. Then you view in such a way that you block P3. Remember, P3 is blocking P1 and P2, so you're only seeing P3. Then you use P4 to block it. And once you have done that, the job is done. You can see the collineation. You see the block. So you now use your pencil to join P3 and P4 using a line. Use the ruler to join the point. You can remove your block. So you join the line. So you join the line. join them. Remember to show your arrowhead. This is light gray, so you have to show the arrowhead. Join the, then you now join O is the point of intersection. O, let me call this other point of intersection on side CD, T. Join your O to T to have the ray called the refracted ray. So joining that, we have so we join that. So if you join that, you have something of this sort. So after you have done that, this angle here is the R, angle of refraction, that you are looking for. Then you draw another line from T to join line P3, P4. Draw another line. That line gives you an arc, that is E, the emergent ray. So at a glance, this is what you have. You can remove the optical pins. You are done with the work when the angle of incidence is 30 degrees. So what is the corresponding angle of refraction? You now measure it. You now measure it using your protractor. Quickly, we measure that. This is your zero line. So this is the line you are calculating for. You move from 90 to 110 is your 10 degrees. Then this is, each calibration is 10. 10, then 5, 6. So this is 16. Cross check well. This is 10, 15, 16. So angle of refraction, as it were in this case, is 16 degrees. Then your angle of emergent angle, you calculate it, you measure it with your protractor. Here is your 0. This is the line you are looking for. This is 10. The difference between 90 and 100 is 10. So 10, 10, 20, 10, 20, 25, 26, 27 degrees. So when angle of incidence is 30 degrees, refracted angle is 16 degrees, emergent angle is 27 degrees. Remember, you have to use your protractor. You don't need to memorize the values, just measure it. These are measurement values. Then you are done with that line. So we go to our table to reflect it. We go to our table to reflect it. We have so sine 30 will give us 0.5 degrees. Then sine R will give us sine 16. .2756. Then cos E will now be cos 27, depending on what the examiner wants you to evaluate. You just follow accordingly. 0.8910. Then sine I over sine R, you divide sine I by this. So 0.500 divided by divided by, these are trig ratio, please. Your trig ratios, sine, cosine, all of them have to be in 4 decimal places. Take note, all these trig ratios, they must be in 4 decimal places, 4 dp. Other ones can be in 3, but this must be in 4 decimal places. Then sine r, sine I, 0.5 divided by sine r, 0.27, 56, 1.8, 14. So that is that for when it is 30 degrees. So when it is 40 degrees, we repeat the same procedure quickly. When it is 40 degrees, we repeat the same procedure. So how do you repeat that procedure? You place your protractor at the normal. I've shown you your normal. This line is your normal. Place your protractor carefully, making sure that it aligns. The cross sign you are seeing at the middle of the protractor aligns with the normal. Then you measure your 40. Remember, you are moving to the left hand side. You are moving this way away from the normal. Don't move from the A side, otherwise you'll be checking glancing angle, which is wrong. Except when the examiner say measure glancing angle, then you move from A to the normal. But if you are looking for angle of incidence, you are moving from the normal to A. So your 40 degrees, your 90 becomes your 0, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. So you are placing at the 50th mark, you put a dot. Then you also draw it to the normal. From that dot to the normal. So this is your second arc, 40 degrees. Then you repeat the procedure. You place this back on the outline. You put your optical pins. You repeat the procedure accordingly like we did for 30. Put the pins 2 cm apart at least. Then you view from side CD and you record accordingly. So if there are any questions or challenges, you can drop it. My YouTube handle is already there. I've shown it before. Peter Amechiden. With that, you will be good to go for optics practical. Thank you for subscribing and watching. Have a nice day.